Hello everybody, it's Gwen with CraftyLadyDesigns.com. I'm going to do a short little tutorial here. Uh, on my Ustream program this week, we made a large storage box for steel dies, framelits, various things like that. And I'd already, a long time ago, had made some card boxes shaped like this. These are chipboard, and this was virtually the same type of large. It was a lot bigger than this to store these steel dies in, which they're 6 by 5.5. But I wanted to do a tutorial on this. Now, as I say, these are chipboard, and these are to hold greeting cards uh, for seasonal. I like this year I had my Christmas cards in, and etc. You can also make this, and I have several of them, with paper, with one sheet of 12 by 12 cardstock. Decorate the outside of them and whatever. They're sturdy, they're fine. Uh, they're not like chipboard. I may do a tutorial on the chipboard ones as well, uh, but these are easy to do. And then when you embellish them with your paper, then they'll be a little more sturdy. So that is my little tutorial here today. And we're going to do a greeting card storage box with one sheet of 12 by 12 paper. Now, you start out with 12 by 12 paper. The first thing you do is take one side and you're going to cut it down to 11 1/4. 11 1/4, and then this will be 12 inches down the side. Now we're going to do some scoring on this. Our first scoring measurement is going to be at 4 1/4. You score it all the way down to the end of your 12 inches. Then we're going to score it at the 7-inch line, and you score it all the way down your 12 inches. So you have two score lines here. One is at 4 1/4 and one is at 7 inches. You're going to turn your paper and you're going to score it at 6 inches. So that will be scoring your paper in half at 6 inches. Now I turn it around the bottom. This will be the bottom. This is the top. This will be the bottom. Turn it another 90 degrees, and you're going to be able to see your 4 1/4 and your 7. Now you're going to bring in a score line here on the left hand side. It's going to be 3 3/4, which will be, and you're only going to score to that 6-inch score line in the center. You're not going to score it all the way down, just to the 6-inch line in the center. Then you're going over at the 7.5 inch, and you're going to score it down to that 6-inch score line. So on the bottom, you will have this score line at 3 3/4, this one at 4 1/4, this one at 7 inches, and this one at 7.5. That is all of our scoring that we're going to do. Now, either with your scoreboard or your scissors or whatever, we're going to do some cutting. We're going to do some cutting off of the bottom part. On this left score line, the one furthest out, which would be 7.5, you're going to cut all the way to the center of that 6-inch or 6-inch, yeah, 6-inch score line. You're going to turn and you're going to cut this big piece off. Now you can save this and use it for other things. So you're going to cut that off, and it's going to look like so. And then you're going to continue to cut across that 1/2 inch, and then you're going to miter the corner at the top and miter at the bottom. Now on either side of what is going to be the bottom of your card box. Then you're going to take the other side and you're going to cut on this side, the outer score line. You're going to cut all the way up to that 6-inch score line in the center. You're going to turn, you're going to cut this piece out as well. And you're left with this. You're going to cut in like we did on the other one. We're going to cut in there. You're going to miter your corner because these are going to be your tabs. And then you're going to cut this off. Now, you're going to go back to your score pal, and you are going to put this back in, and on this tongue side, this is your bottom, then you're going to score at 1 3/4. 1 3/4 all the way across. Now that 1 3/4 is going to be folded up and is going to be the front of your card box. So now, and you could have done that before. Now you've got this one here. So then you go in and you're going to miter at that score line that you just put in at 1 3/4. You're going to miter that because that is going to be a tab that's going to attach the front of your box. So it's going to look like this, okay? Now, to get your angle like so, you're going to, on the right-hand side, you're going to come in 1.5 inches. Check, yes, you're going to come in 1.5 inches, like so. And I'm sorry. You're going to at the fold line, at your fold line in the center, you're going to come over 1.5 inches. I was looking at it backwards. You're going to go over 1.5 inches, and down here at the bottom, you're going to come up 1 3/4. And it's going to look like so. There's your tick mark. From the center, not the center, but from the right, this was your 7-inch score line, over 1.5 inches. On the bottom, on the right-hand side, you're going to come up 1 3/4 inches, and you are then going to connect the dots, as they say. I'll draw a line to show you, and then we're going to cut that off. There is your angle. And you're going to take a knife or your score tape or whatever you use, and you're going to cut that off. And then it's going to look like so. Now, you're going to do the same over here on the other side. And it is, as they say, a mirror image. So I'm going to lay this back in frame. I'm going to lay this down. This is what you cut off. We're going to lay this on top like so. I'm going to just mark it. And that is it's 1.5 inches on the top and 1 3/4 inches up from the bottom. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to align the dots and you are going to cut that off. There we go. And this is what it's going to look like now at this point. You're going to come over. It's got to be a mirror image. You come over from this first score line 1.5 inches. You come up from the bottom 1 3/4 inches, connect the dots and cut it off. This line over here, which was your 7-inch score line, you're going to come over 1.5 inches. You're going to come up 1 3/4 inches, connect the dots and cut it off. So this is what it's going to look like right now. Now, fold your score lines and burnish them. It would also be a good time to cut out your pattern paper to fit if you'd like. You don't have to, but it would be easier to line up your pattern paper. And I'm scoring down the tabs, folding up the bottom, which is going to be the front, like so. Trim this off. I've got a little place here that needs trimmed. These are so fun to make, and they're quite easy to make. I'm going to pull out some pattern paper real quick here and see what we have. Let's see. Does this fit? No, that's not enough. That's not wide enough. I don't know if I've got one that's I could do this. Okay, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to lay this on here like so. Now this is pattern paper. It is not directional. If your paper is directional, you really, really need to make sure that these hard for me. No, I drew that. I drew that on there, and I'm going to cut this out, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to cut off about 1/8 of an inch all around the outer perimeter. Okay, there we go. Because we're going to put this like so, but you want it to be a little bit smaller. Now I'm going to make, and I am going to make a carb. I mean, I am going to turn it over, but this is not directional. But if you just kind of do this, then you'll be sure, because believe me, I have cut them that were to be, that were to be directional, and they weren't. Okay, we're going to cut this one out as well. That is hard to see on this paper. Hard to see. Cutting it out, and then I'm going to go back with my craft knife. There. Okay, now we're going to need one that is 5 3/4 by 2 1/2. 5 3/4 by 2 1/2. I don't know if we've got enough. That's for your spine. 5 3/4 by 2 1/2. We do like so, and that's going to fit on your spine. It's going to fit on there, and then we're going to need, of course, that's the bottom, but we're going to need a small one for the front. Oh, I dropped it. Oh. Now, for the very front, we're going to need a piece that is 2 1/2 by 1 1/2. So this is your spine. We're going to need one that's 2 1/2 by 1 1/2. And that's allowing, now these are allowing for your, around your sides. I'm going to have to go back and trim down, the others. So I'm going to take my, see how these are a mirror image, like so. And as I say, I have many times forgotten to do that. So we're going to take about 1/8 of an inch or so off of the outer perimeter of the first one, because it was exactly the size of the card box itself. I call it a card box. There again, I think I will do a tutorial on the one that I did make with chipboard. On my Ustream program, Crafty-Lady, which I do every week, every Tuesday, our project this week was the large storage box. So it is the same premise, other than it certainly is made with chipboard to hold the big dies. We're just about finished. It doesn't take long to make. They're so much fun to make. I have these set up along my counter in my craft room and store cards in it. And then, like for the holidays, I had my Christmas cards all put out that I was going to use to mail out. I had them all organized, and so it's just kind of fun to do. But one of my followers requested a storage box for the dies. And I'd already made these. I made the chipboard a long time ago. Now, I used some distress, if I can find it, where are you? Oh, here it is. I used some distress ink on the edge. I made a tag. I cut out from my computer. I just printed out cards to put on the front. You can put on the front whatever you'd like, but it is. I used it. You can use it for however you want to. You could put small framelits in this as well. I just started making them for greeting cards, but there are small framelit packages. And get organized, I guess. Maybe I need to do that for a new resolution, to get organized. Because I'm not real organized. I'm a little, but not real. Okay. Now there's our pieces. Now you take your cutout, and this is what it looks like. And you take score tape. I would use an aggressive tape because you're going to use this quite a bit. I'm going to use 1/4-inch tape, will be sufficient. And I'm using score tape. You could use red line tape, and you can certainly use glue. I just use a lot of score tape. And put your tape on all of this. Now, you're going to bring this up, and you folded and burnish all of your score lines. You're going to teach these components where they're going to live. Heard somebody else say that one time. I thought it was very clever. I tear my tape, so consequently, now I'm going to pull off my tape backing on the long one here first, and then you just fold this up like you're making a box and line up your edge. Remember, this is score tape, and then I go inside and burnish it down. Go to the other side and do the same. Pull off your score tape and line up your side. Make sure it's even. Burnish it on the inside. And then you have your front. You have your 2 little tabs on front. Bring it up and line it up. On the other side, do the same thing. Bring it in. Line it up. And there is your card box. Isn't that cute? There is your card box. Now, we're going to take our pieces, and I'm just going to use the ATG or a Scotch. You do not need to use your score tape for this. Put some across the top here. Now, as I say, I have a couple times the mirror image. I mean, it's easy to do, but this is not a pattern. Now, put your tape around and then just put this on. As I say, it's about 1/4 inch probably, or so. Come on. And line it up. I know what I'm doing. There we go. It's a little easier to handle. Uh-oh, that's not working real well. What's wrong here? Well, I do have that off just a wee bit, but not a lot. I just threaded this. It sometimes takes some time to get this one going. I like this gun simply because it's half-inch tape, but I sometimes getting it threaded and then getting it started. Once you get a good start, it's perfect. Well, it's not perfect, but okay. I'm going to do the same here. Maybe should have. This real. I thought I had it real nice and straight. There we go. Furnish it down as well. It's a little tall on the one side, but that's okay. It'll be fine. So we have both sides on. Now we're going to put on the spine. You can, now you got, you know, I would make these, and the way I use mine, I just stack them up together. So you really, I don't put any designer paper on the bottom. You can, certainly. But these line up on your shelf, so consequently, you know, they butt up to each other. I think that's the way they look nice, is to butt them up. Go back in and burnish. Okay, now you got your front. Got your little front piece, not very big. These are a perfect size for greeting cards and envelopes. The A2 cards. Now, you can also cover the inside. I'm not going to today, but you can completely cover the inside as well. But there it is covered, the sides, the front. I didn't do the bottom. You can do that as well. And then now, I made this little tag, and it just says cards, and I cut it out with a little die cut that I had. I don't, there again, you could have embellished this a little bit more, but I just glue it down flat. But there again, you can do whatever you want and put it on the front so that you know it's cards. Now, if you're gonna use this, whatever you're gonna use it for, then just put it on the front, and it says cards. I would also, and I didn't do this, I would also, you know, go back with I'm using frayed burlap, and do your edges as well. We did the edges on the paper. Do all your edges all the way around. Let's say you could cover the inside if you'd like. I did cover the inside of the chipboard, and you could. This would make it, but these are nice and sturdy. They really are. And you know, you would line them up like so on your counter. Now the two out of the chipboard are just a little bit bigger, not much. But see, if you had them like this and lined them up on your counter and had them all covered with paper to match or not, or whatever you'd want to do with them, they're just real handy. I think I will. It'll take a little longer, but that's okay. And do a tutorial on the ones with the chipboard. They're a little stronger, but these are strong enough for greeting cards. These will hold quite a bit. So there we are. There's our little greeting card box. If you have any questions, you can email me or come to my website, craftyladydesigns.com, and leave me a message if you or ask any questions that you may have. Of course, the tutorial is recorded, and you can watch it as many times as you like. But I just thought they would be really, really cute, and they're not hard to do. and one piece of paper. Um, Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. Have a great rest of your week, and this is the end of the holidays, so Happy New Year to everybody, and thank you so much for following me, and I'm going to be doing some more. I'm going to be doing some show and tells, and then I'm going to do some more projects this coming year. Thank you so much. Have a great day.